Hi, my name is Jared Kipe, and I am the founder of Hibou. We are a U.S. Gold partner located in Seattle, Washington. So today's talk is about Walmart order fulfillment in Odoo. There are several things basically that has to happen to deliver an order that was placed on the marketplace inside of Odoo. So basically, customer is on walmart.com. They find your goods because you've uploaded product cataloged with them. They place an order. You download the order. You fulfill the order, and you basically tell Walmart about a couple of steps along the way. So let's get into demonstration mode right here. So it is built on the connector framework from the OCA. If you've used one before, it's going to be fairly similar. So you'd have other backends up here. A backend is basically just the idea of a kind of channel or something. So I've named mine main. Every kind of credential set that you get from Walmart or any other provider, you would probably create another backend for. So over on the left-hand side, we have order defaults. So we have a warehouse as a mandatory field. These are where your products are going to be delivered out of. You have an analytic account, which is not required, but is usually very common to kind of group your sale orders and stuff into cost centers or analytic accounts. Same things with sales team. They're very similar in that regard. Fiscal position, you can leave blank and just allow the kind of whatever you already have set up for auto discovery of fiscal positions. You can leave that and that'll work just fine. But I actually made one called Walmart here to use a specific feature that comes with our connector, which is the use Walmart order item rate. So in reality, Walmart actually already collected tax and they actually rate every item and pass that information along to you. So with this checkbox checked, that basically every product it'll kind of like peek up into the product lines coming from Walmart to determine what the tax rate was and just create taxes off the fly. We have sales prefix, which is basically just something that you want to go in front of the order number. The order number, actually, there's two order numbers in Walmart. There's the purchase order, which is basically your order number, and then the customer order number. We display the purchase order number, and if you want to visually group them or something, you can put a prefix in front of it. So now we come to payment mode, which is a relatively complicated topic. It's part of the OCA kind of connector stuff. Payment modes encapsulate the type of payment that you want to use. In fact, you can see a little bit more information about payment methods with this module installed than you would normally see, including inbound and outbound and things like that. So we're going to use a normal kind of inbound customers paying us method. We link it specifically to a journal. In this case, I named mine Walmart Payments. And then you get to opt into a automatic workflow. And this is another complicated one, but it's very useful. So automatic workflows allow the system to basically drive an order through different steps depending on whether or not you want it to happen for that particular payment mode or automatic workflow. So validate order, right? Every imported order is going to be a draft right away. And if you want to validate the order, which most people do for automation, at least once you feel stable, you would choose that and it'll move it from a draft to a confirmed. Then basically everything that happens afterwards are kind of the same idea. So if you can invoice an order, it'll create the invoice. And if you can validate the invoice, it will, et cetera, and register payment. We'll see some of those later as well. So lastly over here, I guess we have another one. Acknowledge order. So part of the API with Walmart is that when you download an order, you need to acknowledge that you received it. So you can do that either on order import or on order confirmation, meaning when you change it from a draft to a confirmed sale order. If you have automation installed, then they're more or less the same thing. Lastly, we have product defaults over here. So basically, when an order comes down from Walmart, it will try to match the product based on the SKU or default code. And if it can't, then it'll basically just create a product. So in this case, it's going to use this product category when it's creating new products from it. Down here, we have a little tab for some information about how the import works. Specifically, we have a date field, which is kind of effectively a partition where we consider the orders that are before that to have already been imported, and the orders after it to be the ones that you need to still import. And we have a button over here that imports in the background that basically just sets it all off. Typically, though, once you've gotten it configured, you actually don't go and smash the import button. You let the scheduled actions do that. So if we come down here, we'll see a scheduled action that's off by default. It actually is also every day by default, but it's probably more appropriate to run it once an hour or something like that. And what this does and what that earlier button does basically sets up a batch import. And all of those live in the job queue. So we can see a batch import down here that I ran earlier today. And what a queue job is, in this case, is basically a task that's serialized that you can run later at any point. So this one ran, and it looked for orders between certain timestamps. And when it got those orders back, it created a whole bunch of queue jobs to import the orders. Now, all these queue jobs failed initially, just like this one. And we can see why down here. Actually, maybe make this a little bigger. We can see it says that we have no delivery carrier for method code standard. So I already fixed this issue. If we go and look at some delivery methods, we'll have a new tab over here called Walmart. Two fields, top one, Walmart method code. These are basically the kind of rates, I guess, that customers pay for on the Walmart system. And when the order imports, it tries to find a delivery method that has one of these codes. So it's effectively, this is Walmart telling us that we need to ship it via this method, and it will find just such a delivery method to do so. The next field is the base carrier, and this is the list basically provided by Walmart of what carriers you provide. So for every different method code that you have, that you support, rather, you'll need a different carrier, and for effectively every base carrier, you'll need a different carrier too, which may seem obvious, but a lot of people have somewhat generic delivery methods or carriers because they drop ship or something. But you will need to know effectively where the tracking number is coming from, because Walmart requires that you tell them basically where it comes from. All right, so then after, so if we wanted to, I'm not going to, but if we wanted to, we could requeue this job and let it finish and import that order. But what it would do is just enter into the done state like all these other imports. And so basically we have orders. If we go over into our sale orders, we have a list of sale orders. They've all been processed via the automatic workflow, so they're all sale orders, not quotations, but they did start as quotations. Likewise, it was confirmed by the administrator as the kind of runner of that system, and then later it was paid also because of the same workflow. So really, all that's left to do with this particular one would be to come over here and actually deliver it and put in a tracking number. When you validate that, it will create yet another queue job to asynchronously push that tracking number back up to Walmart, effectively kind of closing the loop and finishing that order. That's generally all there is to it. Any questions? All right.